Honorable members, we stopped at page 25 plus 35. We reached the point where it was being proposed to expunge subparagraphs 2 and 3 of paragraph 35. If that is the consensus, then we'll proceed.
No.
26.
Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Can I be heard on the issue of 35-2?
By all means, if you insist.
Mr. Speaker, just a minute.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Soy, Mr. Chairman, honorable members, the government has proposed in this bill to provide subvention for political parties. And if you look at the subsequent provision 2 and 3.2, it has also set out qualifications for that subvention. I think what the government is trying to do is to open up the space for effective political participation in the country. And this is a government that prides itself in building up its own democratic credentials and allowing effective participation of all and sundry within the political spectrum. So which is why we propose in this bill. This is not a novel practice. It's been done in other parts of the world, in other countries, even on the continent of Africa, where government do provide subvention for other political parties. And it's stated clearly to help build up their capacity. So it's not new. It's not only restricted to Sierra Leone. So I'm asking that we look at this provision again and see how we can best add, if any, further qualification for political parties or requirement for political parties to meet for them to qualify for this. But it is the position of government that we have this provision maintained in the Act as we are moving gradually into building a new democratic dispensation in Sierra Leone. And this government is taking a lead under His Excellency Julius Maada Bio for bringing about so many innovations in the democratic space. So I'm asking that we kindly look again at this provision, if any. But I believe that the requirements are set for you to qualify, particularly B, which says other criteria may be set by the Commission. It caters for that, but if Parliament thinks that you can add additional requirements to them, let's do that so that we can maintain this provision in the Act instead of deleting it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Mr. Minister. Thank you very much for such a brilliant move. We say we want to make this Parliament and our laws progressive and look at the beauty of our democracy. So, I know you can always be pushing that we should look at the subvention as a model practice. So we went out to get some discussions around the minister. He has already done his bits, and we have agreed to shape how do we do the subvention. So I'm happy you are around. Maybe you can add. Though the last paragraph, as he said, the other criteria has may be set by the Commission. But there are certain criteria, Mr. Chairman, I want us to keep here. One, we want the political parties to get 5% of the national vote cast. You can deliberate on that. That's a proposal. 5% of the national vote. That is A. We want it to be A. B. Members, political parties that have representation in Parliament. Political parties that have representation in Parliament. That's why there is no cap on it. Automatically, if you have a political party in Parliament, you have to maintain this party, because this is how we want to maintain political parties to function, especially when we share our secretariat. We have asked them to form a secretariat in anticipation that 50% membership is given. So, A now B C, Mr. Chairman, that we talk about inclusivity, not only having smaller parties to come, but also looking at other criteria. Gender is one. We are part of the KBB, which is not an act. We are trying to enforce that one. Disability can come in, etc. etc. But notwithstanding, politics is dynamic. The fluidity of situation is different now. So we can give the latitude to the commission to count other criteria may be set by the commission. So this is the format I want us to do. Because this is taxpayers' money. The reason why I'm asking that we put some caveat directly into the act, into the proposed act, is that we want the public to see that we are doing the interest for the survival of our democracy. We're not doing it because we are politicians. We want to live. If I'm not in parliament, I'm not in governance, I will set up a political party. I enjoy the benefit from the taxpayers. So let it be well worded and look at the criteria that we come to. So that's my proposal.
Well, you would have done well to your proposal if you had worded it well.
I've done it already. I'm expecting your next officer to take my proposal into consideration. I've done it already. You know, I've been saying it. I said, 5% of the national writing. They are right. They are supposed to write it. They cannot be sitting there next officer watching it. I cannot be talking and writing at the same time. I will be talking and they will do the leader. We have a draft plan here. So let us take a opinion on it and we'll come back. Maybe 100 million tellers they like to add or they like to modify what I've said. So I want you to give, because he was talking to you that we should have a compromise with this. Thank you, sir. Can we give him a chance so that he is weak?
Now give him a chance and give others also want to speak on it a chance.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
This House is democratic.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, colleagues, for reflecting on this further. So I wanted to help with the wording for A, 25. So the new A that legal government business is proposing, the eligibility for a government subvention under subsection 2 shall be based on, so the A might read, the party achieving at least 5% of the total votes cast in the general election. That's just the first zero. We can begin to look at the implication of that. But the party achieving at least 5% of achieving at least 5% of the
Not less.
Not less. Okay, not less than 5% of the total votes cast in the general election. Okay, we'll come back and debate those votes later. The second one, B.
Of the valid votes cast or the
valid votes cast, yes. Valid votes cast in the general election. B. The party has gained at least one seat. We may not even put a number. We may say the party has gained seats in the parliament.
As long as you are in parliament.
Yeah, as long as so the political party has gained seats.
Is represented in parliament.
Bravo, that's better. As is represented in parliament. Yeah. These are very stiff criteria. So people should know this is not a free lunch. Ask me, I know how difficult it is to get 5%.
That's a proposal.
Yeah. So now it's open for debate. So I just want people to realize that 5% looks like a small number, but they should ask me after 4 years.
And then A becomes C.
Then the current A becomes C, as he says. Then the current B becomes D. Leaving it open. That one also you can debate whether we should.
Yes, maybe perhaps another position, because I have the minister saying it's about capacity building. Can we just ask, or add that in terms of capacity building, let them produce, the party produce a capacity building plan in which the subvention will be based on support. Because it is clearly, as you say, capacity building has to be defined. Either it is capacity building of an general capacity building for an institution or individual staff capacity building. So let it be defined which of the capacity. Is it resource capacity? Is it logistic capacity? Is it individual capacity? A lot of capacities. So let it be defined. Let it be. My issue there is.
So I said that's one issue.
Okay, sir.
I have another.
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman.
So before I call on anybody, let me look at things from the perspective of the taxpayer. Is there a minimum or a maximum
for the subvention?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, that can be determined by the Ministry of Finance. Of course, because it's availability of, if you want to put anything there, you can say just availability of resources. I don't want to put it there. But subvention, like any other NDAs that are giving subvention, it's a must be, you are giving the city. So the Ministry of Finance will determine, they will use a formula. Maybe we have talked about 5% if you agree, that's one criteria. And we have other criteria that will come out from the PPR, depending on the strength of the political. That will come, but I don't want us to do that restricted aspect of it. Let us give the general conclusion that they are giving subvention. Now the criteria come in, how do you, what percentage you take? It has to be
discretionary. Is that what you say?
From who? Minister of Finance? Yes, like us, Mr. Chairman, check 74.4. 74.4. We determine our budget by law in the Constitution. But we don't have control over the boss. We do have a purpose about the political parties, it's subvention.
You want to leave a situation.
Normally they give cap for subvention for every MBA, Mr. Chairman. So if you say subvention, now we now talk Minister of the PPR, we now come and say this is criteria for it. So have a discussion with finance.
So the idea is you want to promote democracy, right? You want to create space for democracy. No. Do I understand you, leader?
We are the regulating body we are talking about.
I'm telling. But the whole objective.
Numbers are low now.
The whole objective is you want to create a political space for democracy to thrive.
Yes.
Not so?
Yes.
Fine. But take this as an example. If you leave it entirely discretionary.
No, it's not discretionary.
No, I'm not posed my question.
Yes.
There are degrees of support that political parties can manifest.
Of course, yes.
To an existing government.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. And if you leave it discretionary, those who manifest support get X. Those who manifest support not so good get X minus 1. And so on and so forth. Is that what you want to say here?
No, I'm saying anticipation that for the regulations coming, I think this can be one of the things that are built up into the regulation. They can come with, if I see that your percentage, we have determined, Mr. Speaker, if you say now you put a cap here, it will be very difficult for you if the resources are available. So it's purely administrative. The only thing we can put here that can make sense to anybody really availability of resources.
My concern is that you are creating a provision that lends itself to abuse.
But like any other, they are giving silly.
There are no safeguards.
Let me see the Ministry of Defense or Ministry of Agriculture or Parliament. You are giving a silly for you to prepare your budget for budget allocation. You are giving a silly. So political parties, based on the calculation that we get from Ministry of Finance, they want to give you a silly. The quantum you give to SFP is not the same thing you give to NGC. You cannot give the same thing to NGC. So you should come up with a formula in collaboration with Ministry of Finance. That has been a normal practice. Even MDAs that are existing, the ones that have been created like ministries, they are not giving the same series. Depending on the functions, the ceiling given to Ministry of Agriculture is not the same ceiling given to social welfare. It can never be the same. So, like a political party, the ceiling given to APC cannot be the same ceiling given to PC. Or the one given to SFP cannot be the same ceiling given to NDC. They can be different. So it depends. So they have to work out the mathematics. If we still say we are going to give ceiling now, we're missing the point. And the whole business of subvention, we have lost it. That is just my
Mr. Chairman. Yes, sir.
I am of the opinion that the essence of subvention is not for bigger political parties. These political parties can exist without subvention. But the essence of subvention is for smaller political parties not to be influenced by a political party in governance. Mr. Speaker, I have seen on several occasions where political parties in governance try to influence other political parties that are not in governance through giving them money. But if we have a law that mandates that, they will not think that they are doing them favor. They will think it's part of the country's law for them to be given subvention. So the essence of subvention is for these political parties not to be remote controlled by the government in power. You see, that is my thinking. And Mr. Speaker, I want to state here that government should not be left with the discretion to determine what to give any political party. The subvention to a political party must be uniform right across. I am again emphatically insisting that this subvention is not meant for bigger political parties. They can run without subvention. But smaller political parties have not been managed by responsible people because they thought there is nothing there to manage. So any jig and jack will just come run a political party because there are no resources in this political party. But we will begin to attract responsible people once there are funds subvention for these political parties. There are responsible people who decide to leave their home and come to run the political party. They will not be easily influenced. You see. So to me, Mr. Speaker, I want to advise that the amount is uniform. Because if any government is allowed to exercise its discretion on the amount, there is every tendency, as you stated, that they will give more money to political parties that dance in the same floor with them and deprive political parties that don't dance with them because they have the right to determine the amount to give to this political party.
But you support the idea, if I understand you correctly, you support the idea of subvention for the day-to-day running of political party.
Yes, sir.
How does that reconcile with subsection 7?
Subsection 7?
Yes, read it.
But again, Mr. Speaker,
read it. Read 7, please. What does it say?
Yes, now, Honorable Sir, help me read it. You are just reading it.
So you have it.
No, I have it.
It says the political party shall not use the state's resources, facilities, or officials to run its day-to-day activities, campaign, and other electioneering exercises.
Well, Mr. Speaker, again, we have to look at the spirit behind the law. The spirit behind that very law is for political party which is in governance, for it not to misuse, the resources to campaign. No political party in opposition can use the resources of the state to campaign. But now we want to create.
That's not my understanding of 7. It says the political party shall not use. It does not say governing party.
23
Chairman, I think we can just amend 7. Remove the day-to-day activities. Remove it. Yeah, because if you are giving up, you have given the subvention, you can amend that particular provision, remove the day-to-day activities. You can only. Sorry? Yeah, that is not.
That is on the understanding that we agree to
subvention. So now to campaign here.
He is saying you all of you have agreed.
Of course.
Well, not to the best of my knowledge, because I know the leader of government likes to support other political parties. And I know he's the man with good heart. And I understand his sympathy towards other political parties. However, I cannot create a playing field that is oblong and that is imbalanced to the point that I cannot control where the tilt is. So to avoid that and to ensure that everybody moves to the field on a playing field that is level for every eye, I think taking off subvention is the best. Because if I create a platform where somebody else will say, oh, well, as he has just said, it will be determined by the Minister of Finance. That is on the one part. On the other part, the budget has just been read. And by the Public Financial Management Act, if you want to include anything in the budget, already this one is late because the budget has been read and this is not part of the budget. So we cannot include it now because if we include it now, and even in the Public Financial Management Act, Parliament as an entity only has the power to review the budget. We cannot increase.
Mr. Speaker, these are interesting arguments. Mr. Speaker,
it's very valid one.
It's a very valid one, but very interesting also. The provision, you give law for the test of time, but this particular provision is futuristic.
Is what?
A futuristic. Now we have read a budget. He's using the Financial Management Act to kill this provision. Okay, not the provision. I have not said it's not for the budget. It's futuristic, and we have to live by it. So if we take out subvention out, and we take in subvention, we remove day-to-day activities, I will bring in campaign and electionary process.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, let me listen to the voice of the leader.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I totally disagree with my colleague on the other hand, who is saying that subvention.
Who's colleague?
I'm on my right. I have to because we cannot give subventions to political parties. We have 16 of them, Mr. Chairman, and I'll outrightly tell you, I don't think you know more than 6, and we cannot give them subventions to help them grow. Let them grow because they believed in themselves. They knew they were going to create a political party. So let it be by criteria. If they think, yeah, it should be by criteria. Let's see how many populations you have. How many local elections you have won. So with all this, probably we'll think of giving them subventions, but not because it means they are taking it as a fancy, sitting there waiting for subventions to come. No, we cannot. Let's make a criteria over it so that they can, if they pass the examination, we can, but not like that.
Mr. Chairman. Yeah, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. With the issue of the subvention, Mr. Chairman, since we have listened to all of the contributions made by colleagues and the Minister piloting the particular bill has presented a case that it is something that we can go with because he's piloting it. But my only fear here is when I have that it does not have a ceiling. Because it's futuristic, like my leader said, but when we don't give a ceiling to it, it makes it more dangerous. So, for instance, a political party has let me say, $10,000 in their account. Then you come and give them $100,000. So I think if we don't put an absolute figure, let's have some percentage that for every political party, it should not be uniform. At least not more than 10% of your annual income or your bank balance. Yeah, because we cannot give you the $100,000 when you cannot even generate $10,000 on your own. So that should be reflected. That should be reflected in the audited report. But again, when we say you have to attract 5% of the national valid vote cast. So does that mean we have to give the support after the election or before the election to devastate them? Like for instance, if the political party is coming up for 2018, for instance, or 2028, because the party is just coming up, this party will not expect this party to have won election. It's a new party. So if we are going to stick with subvention, let's peg it to percentage. It cannot be uniform as the case may be, Mr. Chairman. That's my submission.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman, I want us to expunge 2 and 3 and enforce 7. Enforce 7. We found out that if we enforce 7, it it will mean that when the Secretary General of the SNPP is going for campaign, he will not use the ministry car, he will use the SNPP car. That's for saving. See, we have not been respecting saving at all. No. For 2 and 3, I don't think it is a big problem. They have not been subventing these parties, all right? And people have been going with that. But then, people have been using state resources for political party business. So I think let's take care of number 7. Let's expunge 2 and 3.
Honorable Speaker, you can see real good internal democracy. My deputy is totally disagreeing with me. And that's the answer. As for valid reason. So thank God we have good democracy. Okay. So I want to respond to my brother from honorable member from my wife's constituency. My late wife's constituency. For new parties, they don't qualify. This is not a free lunch. You have to prove yourself. Mm-hmm. If you prove yourself, you are in here. You have 5%. Yes. You gotta prove yourself. So it's not a free lunch. So that's the response to you. Yeah, it's not a free lunch. Second, for my sister.
Sorry, did I hear? No plan.
No. Mr. Speaker,
Mr. Chairman, now he's pointing to this point, he's not qualified. He has run one.
No, but we are setting for the future, and we push inclusiveness. So I've responded to you. Let me go also to Honorable Tawa. I do share the concern about a blank check. I do share the concern, and of course we are not talking about now that this next budget should finance parties. But you know what came to my mind is maybe, just like we've asked in other acts that regulation should come back, I'm just thinking about it. Because the more we listen to the debates, we realize that we have to tighten criteria.
The time is through. I suspend this over too. Thank you.
So maybe, I don't know, Honorable Minister, if that makes sense, that maybe...
Honorable Minister that was up when
yes, but he's always up, so.
You know?
I second the motion.
The motion has been seconded.
There's no motion on the floor.
There's no motion on the floor. So I'm going for this motion. Wait for the chairman to...
Yes.
I go 5-2.
And seconded by the man.
There's no motion. There's no motion. Speaker, we have to
motion.
Mr. Speaker, I
Honorable natural mover.
I've just moved this time to sir.
Second. So to respond to Honorable Tawa, and I do share the concern that it is dangerous to give a blank check. It is dangerous to leave it completely discretionary with the Minister of Finance. So I was thinking, for many other acts, we've always requested regulations to come back. Given the complexity, it's a good initiative, but we know that it can be abused. Should we not maybe ask that PPRC comes back with regulations to govern this particular aspect? But we accept it in principle with an initial set of criteria, and the regulations will take these into consideration and others.
I would have thought you would say, yes, this is a brilliant idea, but it's entirely novel. Because of that novelty, it needs further study.
Exactly.
Before we concretize our views on it. So in the meantime, there shall be
no, Excellency, no, Honorable Speaker. We believe it should stay just like other acts. We've always asked for regulations to come back. So a compromise could be. We accept in principle. So I'm going back to my deputy. We could say if we're going to expunge 3, for example, we could put another line here saying the Commission will submit regulations that will govern the allocation of subvention. So that we have time then to debate those. But to take it out completely, Honorable Speaker, I don't think that's right.
Mr. Chairman, please. I think looking at our situation, we are constrained to even fund our national election. The country. Sierra Leone is constrained. We depend on donors to give us money to conduct our own very elections in this country. So why should we be hypocrite to start saying we must also raise funding internally to fund political parties? I don't see that realistic because we don't have the funding.
It is helping our democracy.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you look at the reality now of 17 political parties, only 3.
If you are born,
only three have that 5%. I keep telling you how difficult it is to get 5%. Only 3 have up to 5%. So all the other 14 could not even do 1%.
We have business politicians.
So based on this, the rules we're defining now are so tight. 5% is difficult. So even now, in today's context, only 3 can qualify. Only 3.
Mr. Chairman, this kind of stuff, let's do service to Sierra Leone. Thank you. Let's do service to Sierra Leone. Subvention for political parties should not exist. If you want to gain political power, raise your own funds. Raise your own funds. Sierra Leone is a very poor country. Let's not allow people to just come forming political parties all over the place because of the subvention. Mr. Speaker, I therefore move that we kill it. Council motion. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Those against say nay.
So Mario, go against the fire. Go against the fire.
This is new democracy. Our members voted against 2 leaders.
I really want to thank the House for a conclusion that I'm sure resonates well with public opinion outside of this House. So we expunge. Some paragraph 2 is expunged. Shall we proceed? Page 26.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, page 26.
Yes.
In that regard, the number is going to change. Top of 6 will have 4.
It's okay.
Yes, with regards to that, we have fine not exceeding 250 million. Well, before talking about the fine, we are talking about proscribed group or persons. Maybe the commission has a list of that, but again, maybe the yardstick to define who belongs to a proscribed group. Yes, it is forbidden by law when you prescribe, but then again, I think it's too open. I don't know whether that's provided. Because you can even look at 3, the political party shall not transact or contract business with or accept financial aid or assistance, whether in kind or cash, from a proscribed group or persons funding such group. Well, 25 going to 26. It's not about the fine, but at some point, yes, he has to take how that determination of that proscribed group.
Or where it fails to make full and frank disclosure of its sources.
Yes.
That one attracts the penalty. Is it the quantum of the penalty that you worried about?
The quantum, one. Then also the determination of that proscribed group, the determination of that.
Yes.
So, Mr. Chairman, if we are now saying that the area that we're expunging, we talked about funding, subvention, etc. We must expunge that. It is now left to the parties to seek funding for their respective parties. How do we want to restrict them again when we've already expunged the idea of funding them? Meaning, like the American will say, put your money where your mouth is.
Exactly.
If we are not providing subvention for them and we are restricting them from accessing funds from government, let them raise their funds. And maybe I will accept if you say, let them show how they are expending their funds or to where they can expend. But how they raise funds, I think that should be able to restrictive and kill. I know that's a deal.
No, the only restriction there is they should not raise funds from a proscribed group.
And how do we define proscribed group?
Well, by law, the group will be presented, the prescription of the group will be presented and made public. Yes.
This side, the phone.
No,
You go to China. Or you go to China. You go to China.
go to
Yeah, I don't mean they will. I don't come. I see. No.
You can't register.
I can't register.
Mr. Chairman, honorable members, I think when Cabinet was discussing this particular provision, our minds were averted to the issue of terrorism and terrorist financing. That's practically part of the global vogue as we speak now, and we have a lot of international bodies working against that, including the West African subgroup called JAPA. So basically, when we say proscribed group, that's what was in our mind. But if Parliament want further, we can do a schedule and probably name the so-called known terrorist groups eventually, and they can come in. But if what the proscribed group is a proscribed group, we know them, we know about the Al-Shabaabs, we know about the Al-Qaedas, etc., etc. But basically, that's what we are writing about to when we say proscribed. But thank you. That's clarified for parliamentarians, and we are happy to leave this as it is. Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman, I want to agree with what the minister is saying, that he has stated clearly, or there are regulations where groups are stated. Otherwise, if you are not giving somebody money for his campaign, you should not go about asking where did you get your money from. As long as there is, let us have it this way. I was talking about expunging 2 and 3 because I had this in mind. That just as the chief whip has said, the opposition whip has said, put your mouth where your money is. If you are not giving me money, allow me to look out for money. Of course, I don't want money from terrorists. That is clear. I don't want to get from terrorism. All right. But at the same time, I mean, we have several ways of funding. Okay, let people be allowed. Let them be that freedom to sponsor parties, so that we don't kill democracy. All right, completely. If we expose 2 and 3 and say people should not get money from other sources, that is not good. Let us be very precise on what type of groups we should not get funding from.
Mr. Chairman, I think this one we should not waste time with. The minister have already outlined the categories of people we are referring to in this as per law. So we cannot just allow any political party to go and maybe just be doing money laundering and in the name of funding party. So they are prescribed groups as per law. So I think let's not waste time on this. And the minister I think is very clear. We move on this one. You can go and do business or other things to raise funds, but don't go to a terrorist to come with money.
or any other.
And in fact, the fine should be not less than, because here we have not exceeded.
I can't agree more.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Shall we make progress?
What's her name? What's her name?
DJ Lulu don't report to it.
Honorable members, this morning I announced the name of a great benefactor to this parliament. That benefactor being the Westminster Foundation for Democracy in the United Kingdom, which has over time been very generous to Parliament and supported many activities and programs of Parliament. We are privileged today to have in our midst the Regional Director of that organization, in the person of Mr. Michael Nelly. I would like to also the Westminster Foundation through him for the very generous assistance that we've been getting over the years, and we look forward to increased contribution from his organization in support of parliamentary democracy. Thank you for coming, and you are welcome to our country. Shall we proceed? Page 26.
Well, Mr. Chairman, not exceeding, still in page.
Okay, yes. Not less than?
Yes, not less than. Then again, we'll have to go to part 1 later on, preliminary, to delete public funding, because we've already expunged 2 and 3.
Very well.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Let's do so now. Before, lest we forget. Public funding is deleted on page 3. Page 27. 28. 29.
Page 29.
Yes.
Well, it starts from part 8, page 28 itself, conduct of political parties. Then we have 39.2. A political party which contravenes subsection 1 is liable upon proof by the Commission to any of the following penalties: A. Written warning. B. A fine not exceeding 30 million. C. Suspension, or D. Deregistration. The registration at some point might seem to harsh. Violent conduct in party offices or activities, whether directly or indirectly, leading to the registration. I think it's what
this one day ahead of.
And then also a fine not less than, but deregistration for party violence.
So what objection do you have to it?
It's the deregistration aspect, because when you look at the use of thugs, violent conduct in party offices or activities, whether directly or indirectly, that can be undermined. For example, one can send few others to another political party just to cause trouble, and then later on thinking that deregistration is a possibility.
Mr. Chair. Mr. Chairman, please.
Yes.
Okay. I disagree with our chairman also. Because if you are they have written a warning letter to you, you received it, and have paid 300 million volumes, and you've paid, and still continue misbehaving, I think it is good that you do the demonstration. Chairman.
Let me remind you, honorable member, I think it's what? Is it section 35(2) of the Constitution? It enjoins all political parties to espouse democratic principles. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Is that the right provision?
I'm not sure yet, but
Democracy and violence.
fighting is also part of democratic principles, sir.
They should never be bedfellows.
Which one, sir?
Democracy and violence.
Oh, democracy and fight. Because democracy itself came out of the fact that it was serious effort for. People strive for democracy. People agitated. People show a commitment for democracy to reign. Because let's not forget that before democracy, there were all a system of governance.
That's good history, but
very good history.
Contemporary history.
And you're talking about contemporary history, like the governor said a few days ago, that in Sierra Leone there are two generations of Sierra Leone: the ex-combatants and the Okada riders. He said the Okada riders are the children of the ex-combatants. That's what he said. I'm not saying, I'm just quoting. So So, Mr. Speaker, in as much as nobody is advocating for violence.
Don't repeat that. He said it, leave it to him.
Okay, I leave it to the expert. Mr. Speaker, that's not to say anybody in this chamber is advocating violence or advocating fight. But even in the homes, where two or more people gather, there must be internal friction, there must be internal feud. And you cannot say because of a particular feud in the family would amount to the registration of that political party. I don't think anybody is saying, let us go and fight. But at the same time, we are saying,
Mr. Chairman.
With the chairman.
Mr. Chairman, I think we should give the minister, because the legal person, let him explain the following. I think the last resort is to register. After going through by order, of course, you have said the following in legal terms has to do the sequential order. So it's the same, so you don't need to put sequential. Talking about A written warning, a fine not exceeding 30 million or no less than 30 million, a suspension, or deregistration. So to protect political party, it's not an easy task, the chairman. To protect political party, it's not an easy task. It's a whole lot of hustle they are going to go through. So I don't know, but I think that is the order. That's what I see. It's the order that you have to go. I don't know my colleagues if they are indifferent to this one.
You know, with the chairman, violence must not, I repeat, must not be accepted when it comes to inter-party relationship. That we must frown against. But let us also remember that even inter-party, within party, I mean, tempers flare. We have seen it all across the board. So, in that circumstance, I think we must also consider the fact that we are all human. And sometimes, in the process of competition,
Especially when
tempers flare, and people might act to regret later. But that is not to say we must accommodate violent conduct. No. Definitely, that must not be accepted. But we must also give these laws a human face. Let us understand that we are all human. At some point, even in the home, sometimes people are not violent by nature. But they might be provoked to a point where SO2, you go fling down the member of dinner. That's violence in itself. So, in as much as we are trying to actually examine, make sure we get rid of these elements in politics, we must also remember that at some point as human beings, we might fail in our exercise. But the element of registration here is what maybe the reason is money, fine, suspension might work. For deregistration, I think might be the extreme end.
But then it could act as a deterrent.
Yes.
It's a deterrent.
Mr. Chairman.
When members of a political party know that through their own violent action, their party could be deregistered, that's a deterrent in itself.
In the first place, Mr. Chairman,
let's keep it.
We have, Mr. Chairman, in the first place, we have political parties in which the political divide has grown to the extent that there are people in the party that they want the party to be deregistered. Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman,
you might as well expel them before they get into it.
let me just tell you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, you don't make law. SFP is an example. Mr. Chairman, you don't make law. They are not need to give an example. So Mr. Chairman, you don't make law because you have a person there now that is reasonable and professional. For now, I can tell you that the PPIC boss is doing the best he could to ensure that he maintains the balance. But should you have a bias clause there is every tendency that he may want to use this clause to get political parties deregistered. Let me tell you, Mr. Chairman, maybe you have not played that kind of politics. You have not played that kind of politics.
I never will.
But there are orchestrated violence. There are orchestrated violence. There are violence that are orchestrated by people, so that at the end of the day, the party will look like if it is a group of boys will just go to your party or storm there, and at the end of the day, you are penalized.
Take an example what happened here yesterday. Just take an example. I sat there quietly watching.
Minus this parliament. Mr. Speaker, I want to put it to you, Mr. Speaker. I want members of parliament here to give me an example of any big political party that have not exhibited violence in their party offices. It's not possible.
The problem is for some political parties, violence is part of their DNA.
No, it's not. We'll find way to address it. But you cannot say you deregister a political party because of violence. I am not a proponent of violence.
Mr. Chairman, this is not the point of argument. This one should not be argued at all. We are living in the 21st century. There must be some form of decency.
And we must out
in
violence.
Certainly. If today SLPP perpetrates violence, deregister us. In the first place, it's not in our DNA. You will never hear about SLPP in violence. Mr. Chairman, that is all the more reason why. Some people in the streets will say, SO2, SMP, they do both. They do both. And all of that. It's because our party is so disciplined that when you misbehave, you are dealt with at the party level. We do not really allow misbehavior to go to the police. We deal with you in the party before we get you to the police. So, in as much as violence is bad in its entirety, let's keep this particular clause.
I want to give traction for
So,
the
quality is very decent. It's a relief.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Chairman. Mr. Speaker, Honorable, Mr. Chairman, Honorable members.
Skip it.
Let's keep it.
Mr. Chairman, honorable members, if you look at the Political Party Act of 2002, it gave absolute powers to the Commission without those other qualifications to deregister political parties. If you look at 27(1) of the Act we are now changing, it says without prejudice to any other penalty prescribed by this Act, any order that the Commission may apply to the Supreme Court for an order to cancel the registration of any political party, the other party, and the state is foreign. Now, what we are doing basically in this provision, we have decided to give the Commission further regulatory powers. It starts with warning if you are involved in search. If you are warned, you don't desist from such activities, they can fine you. That's the next stage. If you are fined, you still cannot desist from that violence, then they can suspend you. And if they suspend you again and you're still there, then the absolute can happen, which is deregistration. Or even for you to deregister again, we just passed, if you look at section 26, again, 2, we just passed that, in which again another layer is added. That even before they come to cancel your registration, they will also have to ask you again to remedy whatever you've been doing for a certain period, which you've all agreed on, from 30 days to 90 days. So those are all safeguards. It's not just getting up one day to say we are going to deregister this political party. That's the absolute. So now that we've given additional powers to the Commission to say, 1, fine, or even suspend first before you come to the absolute, it's more fitting for us to maintain that. That's the absolute position. And I believe if you are a political party, you cannot take warning, you pay fine, you cannot stop, you are suspended, you cannot stop, then you have no business to exist as a political party.
So we qualify D to say subject to section 26.
If you want to, but at the end of the day, that's it. That's the interpretation, that's the safeguard there.
The other safeguard is you go to court.
Exactly. Another safeguard is the Supreme Court. Again, if you are dissatisfied with the decision of the Commission, so if you cannot fall within all of those qualifications, you cannot head into warning, fine, suspension, you have no business to exist as a political party. So it's not on, we are not only saying that you get up in the morning and deregister as we want to, make it look like. But definitely, violence has no place, has no business in democracy, as the Speaker rightly said. They are two strange bedfellows, and we must be sane in making laws to ensure that we put regulations or laws in place that will deter or prevent it at all costs. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I would prefer the extant law. When the minister was explaining a couple of seconds ago, he did state that basically in the extant law, before the registration takes place, it will be subjected to the court. And it is the point that we have the mandate to deregister a political party. I specifically don't want this House to give PPRC the right to deregister political parties. I want that to be subject to the court. Let the court exercise their discretion to deregister political parties.
The safeguard is there, you can go to court. I'm joining the decision of the Commission.
After you have been deregistered by the Commission.
Yes.
So what I'm suggesting now,
no problem.
No, what I'm suggesting now, Mr. Speaker, is that the court should be, the
the only entity that has the power to deregister a political party. Yes. That is what I'm saying.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman, I wish to apply for amendment to subclause 2. Amendment to clause 39 subclause 2.
Yes.
39 subclause 2. A political party which contravenes subsection 1 is liable upon proof by the commission to any, instead of to any of the following penalties, we say to the penalties in the following order. To the penalties in the following order. 1, written warning. 2, a fine not exceeding 30 million. The third stage is suspension. It's an and. Instead of or, we have and. The registration. Yes, the registration.
Subject to 26.
Let's put it in that order. Instead of saying any of the following, if you say any of the following, you can go direct to the registration. Yes. Yes. If you say any of the following, then you can easily go to the registration. But let's take it in the following order. First, you give warning. 2, fine. Not exceeding, not less than 30.
Not less than. The fine is too low.
No, 30 million is too small. For a political party that misbehaves. That misbehaves.
Not less than 100,000.
Not less than 100 million.
100,000.
Not less than 100 million. A political party that misbehaves
100,000.
and disrupts the normal life of citizens should be fined not less than 100 million. We are talking about a political party. We are not talking about a small association or a boys and scout group. We are talking about a political party that seeks to rule Sierra Leone. Not less than 100 million. But let's take it in this order. 1, a warning. 2, the fine, not less than 100 million. 3, suspension. And finally, deregistration.
I'm sure that is the
I so move, Mr. Chair.
I'm sure that's the consensus.
I so move. If in case somebody wants to challenge me.
No, nobody is challenging. But he has moved the amendment. Nobody is challenging Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, the chairman is clear, but
What yes, we get clear that the rest will be clear.
But 35.7 is very clear until the decision. If you are not satisfied with the decision, go to court, Supreme Court. That was the general position. Whatever decision they are going to take, the principle of natural justice.
The reason I was insisting on 26 is that in 26, as the minister rightly said, we've also outlined the process of deregistration.
Yes.
So that's why I'm saying the registration subject to 26. So the PPRC realizes yes. Yeah, I see
included from seeking redress under the law.
Yes, I see that, sir. My worry is here, the way it is written. Someone can say, well, we deregister now based on these other violations of violence, and the person can go to court. By referring them back to 26, we're saying, hey, even if it's violence, you go back to 26. The register has its own process, and there are time limits given, there are other redress mechanisms given. In other words, we're saying the registration is subject to the way we prescribe it.
With all due respect, Honorable, with all due respect, I don't think as a parliament we need to provide a bed of roses for a misbehaving political party.
Indeed.
I don't think we need to provide a bed of roses. If we have warned you, we have fined you, we have done all of these things. There's no need for them to date. We don't need to begin to tell you to correct your attitude or your conduct. There can be no way to correct that. There can be no way. Just after the final, sorry, please, Honorable Youngster. You know, some of these things, Mr. Chairman, you know, we must be treated seriously as a parliament. You know, as a parliament, we make laws not only for the development of Sierra Leone, but we should make laws for the peace of this nation.
73.
We should make laws for the peace of this nation.
Ali.
Yes. So we should not be favoring misbehaving political parties. Let the government provide level playing ground for all political parties. And we are willing to make all the laws to ensure that the grounds are level. But let's not tolerate political parties that go around misbehaving, disrupting the peace. Yes, I use the violence. Disrupting the peace of the nation. Political power. Yes. And don't forget, honorable members, please, let me step this point. You see, don't forget that when there is disruption of the peace, the first target are we the politicians. Are we the very politicians. Sometimes that's why I listen to people going all over the place shouting for violence. Mr. Speaker, if there's violence, no, even those in the street will not know that you are APC or SMP. The fact is that you are a politician. You become the very first target. They know these hooligans know where the politicians are. Don't even in the slightest moment, don't even imagine that they do not know where you are. Yes.
The commotion here yesterday. You should hear what the public has to say about parliament as an institution.
Yes.
I am trying to give a dispassionate, non-emotional safeguard. People know my history, right? Honorable Deputy Minister knows our incident in Sambo. So I have been a victim of violence. I am a serious victim of profane language, including yesterday. Yeah. I'm not ascribing the cause to anybody. But I am subject to audios every 2 weeks. You know, 30 minutes audio. More than anybody in this house. More than anybody in this house, including yesterday. So, I'm giving a dispassionate opinion. To deregister, we argued earlier. We cannot argue about the gravity of deregistering a party 2 hours ago. And then we turn around and make it easy to deregister. Remember also, yes, there could be saboteurs. People could be instigated to cause violence that may not be part of your party. This is why, for me, deregistration is such an ultimate process, death of a party, that we should not make it simpler after we made it tougher in 26. We come to 30, 35, and we make it easy. So my view is, and that's all I'm asking, deregister, and as you said, Honorable Deputy Speaker, and the registration, I'm also saying subject to 26. If they're going to be deregistered, go through the process we described. We took pains to define a deregistration process. Let the PPRC go back to that, because that's why we were being careful how you deregister. So I fully agree violence is bad. I fully agree it is we can't tolerate it. But let saboteurs not go to the SLPP office in Gambia, cause violence, and come back and blame the SLPP or the APC office in anywhere or NDC office. So I'm saying when that happens, BPRC has to go back to 26 and go through that process to say now we register. You cannot give the right time and then you take the left time.
I don't even know how we came about 26-2. Because as far as I know, Mr. Chairman, this process cannot be realistic in all cases. Let's assume a political party engenders the kind of violence that will result to loss of life, destruction of property, and so on and so forth. How can that be remedied in 90 days? How can that be remedied? So this one in itself is unrealistic. If a political party calls upon its members to go to the streets and begin to burn down houses, burn school buses, kill police officers, how is that going to be remedied in 90 days? How realistic is that? So 26-2 in itself is a non-starter. I submit, Mr. Chairman.
If I may give you a report, even for more than
Honorable Nicola, let me help you out.
just 2 minutes. Even for more than first degree murder, people are given due process. Even when the guy actually takes the gun in public shoots somebody, the trial allows due process. My point is, even given the grave circumstances you described, we go back to 26 to say in order to be registered, you must also go through due process.
Yes, you can.
Even in the case of murder, you know that. Even in the case of first degree, they still give due process. What we did this morning, which was brilliant, we took time to define due process. So they register, yes, based on 26 as a due process mechanism.
You see, you cannot subject that one to 26. The context are quite different. They are quite different. 26-2 talks about, procedure. Maybe something left undone and so on and so forth. You cannot subject that one to this. Mr. Chairman, take a look at it.
I have, and as I said, the safeguard E.
You cannot.
The safeguard E is if you suffer deregistration, there is still, that's not the end of the matter.
Yes.
You can still go to court.
But what we did this morning in 26, we didn't want the registration to take place before you go and have recourse. We made it stringent. Also, I give you a practical example. Let me give you a practical example. In 1973, my father and 4 other SFPD people were locked up in Congo Cross because their driver, one of the drivers of the campaign vehicles in Kailam at Mumbai, hit somebody. They were not even there, but they were part of the campaign. They had already arrived in Kailam. What happened? They arrested 5 of them, locked them up in Congo Cross. And the Attorney General at that time resisted the Prime Minister.
You were campaigning for what party?
SFPD. The Prime Minister said he should charge. I'm telling you, real case. The Prime Minister said he should charge Salia Dushushere, my father, Sanusi Mustafa, with murder because the driver of one of the campaign vehicles hit somebody. The Attorney General said, Mr. Prime Minister, they were not there. They were not even in the vehicle. They were campaigning there. This is the vehicle with logistics coming. Why should I charge them? He said, you know, Sabi law, SO2. He fired him. What am I saying? Somebody can cause violence in a party office. That is not a party member. Somebody can cause violence somewhere that is not sanctioned by the party. So we need due process. Let the party have their day to justify or explain whether this is a party-sanctioned violence or it's rogue act. Another example. There's all this historical debate about Pearl Harbor.
But for them, wait a minute. The historical
yes.
What was the advice?
What was the
advice? Even of the Prime Minister. What did he tell the
that?
He said charge them to court.
But for something. They were not even present. My point is, here, and that's what we've done.
He did not say send them to jail. He said,
no, he locked them up already. They were in Congo Cross. My father and others spent 3-4 days in Congo Cross, eating condom. while the process was being investigated. So what we did this morning was to define a process of deregistration. Which means, yes, they've caused mayhem, whoever. The PPRC has to go through that process, giving the party time to explain whether they sanctioned it or did not. You know, we all have youthful exuberance. People could be campaigning on behalf of a party in my constituency with no knowledge of their headquarters and cause mayhem.
Yeah, but then
they do it somewhere else.
The Nexus has to be established.
So that is what 26 has done for us. We give 90 days. They give him notice after all the warning that now we are facing the registration. And yes, we are holding you under 26 to go through these steps and you're out.
Thank you.
Mr.
Chairman, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I've listened to what you have said. And we have put, yes, they are safeguards. I think it's a provision you have made reference to is the problem. For the 26.2 is a compliant issue. Compliant issue that has to do with constitution. Now, what we can refer to that can give force to what you have said with all the explanation is 26.7. 26.7. Let's go to the chairman. Let us go to 26.7. Subject to 26.7. 26.7 reads, on an appeal, the Supreme Court may confirm or reverse the Commission's decisions to cancel the registration of a political party, or may, or any other it may think fit. That's what constitutes what Honorable Yukala has said, because this has to do with misbehavior, misconduct of the political party or individual within the political party, or those who think they can pseudo-politician for a particular political parties. Mr. Chairman, if you go to what Honorable Deputy Speaker said, he said in the foreign order of penalties. So when you reach at the last, the maximum level of all what they have said, absolute points, that after warning, you go as sour suspension. When you talk about deregistration now, as what you have said, you go back subject to 26.7.
Is it 26.3 to 26.7? Is a breaking point. 26.3 to 26.7.
Let me go on.
If you cannot reform, at the breaking
point. Let's have consistency. Let me go.
26.3 to 26.7. I accept. Being that specific. No. Because 26.3 begins to explain the due process. No.
All right. Yeah, don't rule me out. Yeah. No, you don't need to move, sir. We want to be consistent with the law because we don't want to appear as make laws trying to deregister a political party. So I think there is some agreement.
But I thought, if you look at the wording of 26, it's quite general. Yes. It's not specific.
For 26,
it says without prejudice to other penalties.
Where is that?
26.1.
I'm not talking about 26. I'm talking about 26.7.
Yes. No, 27 comes on that 26.
So if you say subject to 26.7, it means it's specific on 26.7.
No. What I'm trying to say, you can still go under 26.
You don't need to.
So what you don't need to make reference.
So you want to say 26.7?
Yes, 26. You don't need to make reference.
So you still have to say still go to 26
and seek the remedy under 26. Yes.
It can still affect it.
Because it's part of the act.
Of course.
Mr. Chair,
I think.
Go to the Supreme Court.
All right.
Mr. Chair, you have to listen to our opinion.
No, but let us finish first.
You've not expressed one. What would I say?
Mr. Chair, I'm the acting leader here. You have to listen to me. You have to listen to me.
Why they keep saying that?
I think you guys say you should go to the constant as the way you are appealing for deregistration. So it's the general provision for a deregistration. So if you are deregistered, they are giving provision under 26. Because in the Constitution, 35.7 is giving you the platform to go to court, to Supreme Court. But 26 is giving a whole lot of steps. How do you get to court? So that's why you see. I don't know if you subscribe to that. But 26.7 is talking about a deregistration. So you can just look at that again.
Once you're looking at it, can we get some traction?
Yeah, we can come to it, sir.
Yes. So we go. The 30. 31. And the share.
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, 30.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, these political inclusions. Part 9, political inclusion.
Yes.
We are talking about 30%. Plus 41, plus 42, up to plus 43, 44. We have a general provision we have agreed in the Public Elections Act, subject to 58. The whole of 58 is compliant. So I don't want to take this one. I'll put one wording to say political inclusion. All political parties shall comply with Section 58 of the Public Elections Act 2022.
Absolutely.
Yes, that takes care of everything.
That is 41.
No, that's for all.
That's for 41, 42, 43, 44.
Yes. Except you want to put penalties when they fail to
read that again.
Which, for
a political party,
a political party that fails.
No. The one
all political parties comply.
Huh?
All political parties.
All political parties.
No, just say political party. Shall
political party shall
comply
with Section 58
with the provisions
of Section 58 of the Public Elections Act 2022.
Yeah.
I don't know if members would like to have penalties like violation. I don't know.
No, the penalties there already.
Oh, 57. 57, there's penalty.
If you do not comply, your nomination list will be rejected by
yes.
Does 58 cover party executive officer? I think it covered mainly ministerial positions, local government.
Yeah. It won't work.
It didn't cover executives of political parties. So I think you have to maintain
43,
42.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, yes, I think that's a reversal. Sorry.
42 and 43.
Yeah. Honorable Kawa was drawing my attention to. Let's go for 41.
What you said replaces 41 and 42.
42, yes.
Yes.
And you keep 43.
43, yes.
Page 31.
Mr. Chairman, I still want to say us for 43, we must put penalty for 43. We must put penalty for 43 to enforce it. Because for 50, 41 and 42, there's already penalty. There's already penalty that 58.7 that they can reject the list.
Yeah. This is an additional penalty.
Yeah. But the additional penalty now, after he said 43, a political party shall endeavor to make adequate provision for persons with disability in executive position from world to national level. And a party 44, and a party that contravenes a provision in this part is A, liable to a fine not less than 25,000 euros.
That's an additional penalty to what?
No, that's what I'm saying. There was put a penalty there.
It's there.
Okay, all right. Well, I wanted to buttress that.
So page 31.
No, Mr. Chairman, I'm a little bit worried about 42.
No, 42 goes.
42 goes. I thought we passed the relevant laws relating to
That is why
state governance. Why we get into political parties? We get into political parties. We have a seat for women. There's a national women's leader. We have the whole council.
No. We are just
We get into political parties again.
Of the public elections and
But Mr. Chairman, let's not ridicule the laws we pass here. Because, we passed this law relating to 30% for women. It comes to state governance. When we get into political parties, very soon we're going to school prefects. Yes, this is a political party. Let's not tie them down.
We should.
No, we shouldn't. Let's not overstretch, some of these things. Let's not overstretch them.
My dear speaker, I think we should, because
At least my
party about by section 35.
At least my pinch of salt. But I think we are going too far. That's what I think, Mr. Chairman.
You be futuristic.
Mr. Chairman.
So you begin to have that
Mr. Chairman.
I don't know what to say, Mr. Minister.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Minister, if you can react
Mr.
to that.
Minister, just wait a bit. Mr. Chairman, I want to consolidate what I proposed here. In 54, I've talked about 58. I make special reference to section 58 of the Public Elections Act 2022. That is 54. That is 41. That's only for 41 now. Coming to 42, I would like to paraphrase. A political party may endeavor. May endeavor.
Maybe that too.
May endeavor. May endeavor at least.
Don't begin to say 30% was school prefects.
At least 30% for women in executive position from world to national level.
Honorable leader of government may endeavor. Wow, that's a good. That's a big loophole. May endeavor.
Sorry.
Why are you so critical about
The women are 52% of our population. I want to see the political party that can tell me they cannot find 30% women anywhere. I'm sure there will be another to disagree. May endeavor. Men who will sit in a room and say we endeavored and we didn't find. That is true.
I just want to remind you.
Because it's not visible. I know it's not visible.
Mr. Chairman, right there in your seat. Mr. Chairman, beating your chest.
I have announced for our president to support them more. So may endeavor. Sorry, I will be endeavor.
Where do women vote in this parliament?
May the political party may at least the political party may have at least 30%.
No, they have the whole women's council.
That is it.
Yes,
No, 30% placement in executive position from world to national level.
Those elections have to be contested. If we can win,
they are
fine.
women. They are women.
No, but they're not saying
No,
They're not supposed to tell them, I say.
can win, fine.
Mama here now. What do you call our women for? We talk about senior mother. I tell you.
These chauvinistic men trying to find them. We endeavored and we didn't find them. Don't endeavor. Make it sharp.
I'm taking my argument from now we are hearing the station. What we are fighting. So let me talk. We report those individuals. This business of started more palatable. So we are going to Mr. Chairman, you know, we started asking for and we argue.
No, then the invite is still governor. Okay, let me give you now we go down to school prefect.
At the other time, we said because of the profession we have to just succeed. Let us generally use the word. We don't want to bring about this. If we now begin to go to court and we have their own way, we mandate them to have at least 30%. Let us say the mayor have 30% at least in executive
But
position.
even using the word shall is not an absolute obligation.
The chairman.
Shall be therefore.
The chairman, I don't know. The last time he told me when I was using it, he said, "But you can use it to be that's why yes, babe. Really? And you support the chairman?
It's difficult. Let alone to begin to fight.
You are one
Yeah, in 1996. In 1996.
You know how difficult it was for you to gather women together. You know how difficult it was.
Until you
And
survive.
some of us have also endeavored to start political parties. We know how difficult it is. So please, the fact that we want to encourage women, we should not make it hard. Let us encourage political parties.
Mr. Chairman,
So I want to.
You shall endeavor.
Make it discretionary. You leave it open for women. Someone know if
They are not interested in the beginning. Women, they are interested in the finished product.
Okay, let me give.
thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I know our men have supported us so much. They have given us place, at least to work as women. Yeah, you added your voice to our voices. You really want to appreciate. Well, at this time, we don't want you to again dilute. You know the patriarchal nature of this country, of the world at large. You understand? No, but you give it us space. Don't dilute it by using it.
Mr. Chairman, you see, Mr. Chairman, I am somebody who believes in women. I know they are so strong, they are powerful. You know, I had the opportunity of being taught during my school days by women, and I know how serious they are in anything they do.
And I believe that in practice.
I am a he for she. But what I'm saying, Mr. Chairman, is that let's not create the situation as if, we pity our women. We have to pamper them, create rooms for them. You see her? She contested against 4 men. And she defeated them. In no other place but a traditional setting and so she contested against 4 men and defeated all of them. The women in Nigeria are very strong. Including the district secretary. I don't like when you create a situation that they are expected to be pitied. We should not be pitying our women. They are strong. They can fight for themselves. At least we have created the enabling environment when it comes to state governance. So let's not go beyond that, Mr. Chairman. Let's not go beyond that.
Mr. Chairman, you said, that's why we are restricted in the public elections and our commitment in supporting our women. It's very clear. We started with it, but we now went after discussing 42 to change it to May because we want women again. Let them try. But we are going to political parties. When it is there, the DDRC will also encourage political parties to cooperate with Section 42 and the PSP. And if you say we are going to give anything on pro bono basis, you are making them very lazy. We don't want them. In politics, you have to apply your own effort. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, honorable members, as I stand here, probably I wear 2 hats.
Oh yeah.
Let me remove the one hat and take the other hat at the moment and speak from a little bit of experience.
No, he has left that one behind, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
He has left that one behind.
In all fairness, it's a difficult situation. The aspects of saying giving a mandatory provision for political parties to ensure that they have 30% of the executive positions to women. Political parties are the most voluntary association I know of in the world. Someone can be SWP today, and tomorrow it can be any other member of any political party. Everybody can ask a question. And when we go to these political party, internal party elections, conditionally, as I don't know for other political parties, but for most political parties, it's election. There are many cases wherein these positions are being advertised, people are being called upon, and they hardly see, with all due respect to our mothers and sisters, see them come forward to say, I want to vie for this position. And we are not going to say, in the situation we are in, we are going to say we will not have elections internally in order to create that aspect of saying we should have the 30% in the Senate. In as much as we want that to happen, but them coming forward, it's a very difficult situation. And they have all these stories about, the difficulties of internal party democracy within our political parties. I know how far it can get. I know how it can go. Those that are brave enough to come forward in the last election, like Honorable Veronica Kadisisi, who contested for the position of deputy chairman, it was an election. She got supported. But at the end of the day, it was democracy at play. It was not a situation to say you're not going to allow others to contest. So if we make it a mandatory provision in the Act, it will be very, very difficult for political parties to be compliant with that. We may endeavor by encouraging them, by making the space open and encourage them to come forward. But definitely, if you make it mandatory for political parties, you will have virtually all political parties be in default of that provision. And if we are making law today for posterity, and we want laws that we can comply with, we want laws that we can implement, we want laws that can take effect. So I'm kindly suggesting that we amend the wordings of that particular provision. If you are on a situation of selection and not election in those internal party democratic practices, then we can say we select some women here quietly, even that you have to play with them. But these are internal party elections, and we cannot see ourselves or many political parties deviating from that. So we may endeavor to have that by encouraging them and by taking deliberate actions or making regulations that will aid that. But making it mandatory will be a very difficult situation, and there will be many political parties, if not all, that will not be in compliance with that provision. So I would suggest that we go with the rewarding that particular provision. Let us endeavor to do it rather sharp. Thank you very much, sir.
Chairman, sir.
Yes,
Actually, you don't pull a back. The party.
Mr. Speaker, my deputy we grudgingly accept. We grudgingly accept, but we want it to be shall endeavor, not may endeavor.
Mr. Chairman,
Shall endeavor.
an attempt to make it shall. Mr. Chairman, an attempt to make it shall defeat the very purpose for which you have been advocating since morning, section 35(2) of the Constitution. An attempt, I'm too E for shame, but if we attempt to make it shall, it will defeat 35(2), which says the internal organization of political parties shall conform to democratic principles. So if we say shall, then we are moving to a point where we would unpick people and make them secretary general because they are women. We unpick people and make them organize the secretary because they are women and because we want to meet the 30% threshold. So because of consistency with the Constitution, we would have to revert to a conditional clause of May.
Are you ready? You have a formulation? Okay, I'll look at it later. Mr. Minister, go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, honorable members, I move that part 6 to 10, clauses 21 to 46, and the schedule stand as amended stand part of the bill.
Honorable members, the question is that part 6 to 10, clauses 21 to 42, and the schedule stand part of the bill as amended. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Part 6 to 10 clauses 21 to 46 and the schedules form part of the bill as amended. The House is yours.
Mr. Speaker, sorry. Mr. Speaker, honorable members.
Mr. Speaker, please. We've gone through the PPRC bill, and all throughout the bill, I did not see any clause, not even on the functions of the PPRC. Some of the PPRC officials are here, where the PPRC has the authority or mandate to conduct elections to political parties. Exactly. There is none, absolutely. I am saying this because we have seen the circumstances where the PPRC have attempted or have conducted elections of political parties in the past. Yes. I am not sure They have that authority to do that. They have the authority to regulate the political parties based on this document or some other laws. Not for them to conduct political parties, election political parties. That's the point I want to make.
Mr. Speaker,
would you like to respond to that?
Briefly, thank you very much, Honorable Kaisamba, for raising that concern. And this is a new dawn. We're having a new act for the political party regulation commission, and I'm sure some of the members are here. The current chairman is not present. They've taken that into due consideration because their mandate, as it has always been, is to regulate and probably supervise. We are in the bit sent to supervise, and it turned out to be the returning officers. It's what the Honorable is raising concerns over. I don't think that will happen again. This is a new dawn, and this is a new page. It will never happen again.
Mr. Speaker, I don't know to what the Honorable Mr. Speaker, it's important. Some of us don't have interest in this because of the past experience I've got to. Mr. Speaker, allow me, please, sir. Mr. Speaker, please allow me, sir. Please, sir.
I want to allay the fears of honorable members that this is a new act, and we intend, once it has been passed by this honorable house, we intend to implement it to the fullest, and what is not in the act will not be implemented. What is not in the act will not be implemented. We will stick to the provisions of the act, and where anybody so acting under the powers of this act, also outside the scope of that power, it will be ultra-virus, and the necessary actions will be taken likewise. So that said, I want to allay.
The political party will be free to invite the PPRs.
Thank you very much, Honorable
to conduct its elections. That's not an imposition. It will be doing so by invitation.
Exactly.
There's no provision.
There's no provision. No, if the political party invites themselves, that is when they invite.
If it is by consensus and they ask them to do it, it's a different case. But it's not an imposition. Can you move? Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I report that the bill entitled the Political Parties Act 2022, having gone through the committee of the whole House with amendments, and I move that the bill be read the third time and passed into law.
Honorable members, the question is that the bill entitled the Political Parties Act 2022 be read the third time and passed into law. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it.
The Political Parties Act 2022 being an act to provide for the continuation of the Political Parties Registration Commission as the Political Parties Regulation Commission to provide for the regulation, including the registration of political parties in accordance with sections 34 and 35 of the Constitution, and to provide for other related matters, has been read the third time and passed into law.
I don't fit by you. I don't see.
Mr. Speaker, if you allow, can I stand on SO 71?
SO 71?
Yes, sir. Our select committee.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you very much. Honorable Speaker and colleagues, standing on SO 71, I just wanted to give you an update of where we are on the special select committee set up on the whole issue of fake certificates and degrees. As you know, you set up the special select committee on fake certificates back on May 4th. 2002, and you appointed 7 of us to that committee to do that exercise. We've approached our work with 2 strands. One strand is the investigative process, and the standing committees, we assume, have started their own audits of certificates in the sector ministries. We hope that is ongoing now. We know that the Civil Service Commission, the Ministry of Higher Education and others launched their own investigations. Parastatals have done the same. And somewhere along the line, these processes have to converge. So that process, that one track of investigative work is ongoing. On our side in Parliament, we requested the Parliamentary Service to ask all staff to provide for us, all staff of the Parliamentary Service to provide their certificates for verification. Now that we have been provided a secretariat this month, we plan to have that as a repository of those certificates, and we'll duly look through them. If you recall, we had also sent letters to members of Parliament to do the needful and also declare their certificates, even though the Constitution does not require a certificate to be a member of Parliament. So the investigative side, work stream of our assignment is ongoing. We have focused more on the systems issue. How do we prevent this from happening going forward? That's where we have devoted a lot of time. And I'm very happy to tell you the following, to report on the following. We've had a very good meeting with the Tertiary Education Commission. We sent them 13 letters ahead 2 months ago, and they provided us written answers. And then on Monday this week, we had detailed conversations and discussions about their role in accrediting institutions that come here. Our discussion unveiled many problems, including some issues on the legislation that established the Tertiary Commission. It is also noteworthy that in our discussions we realized that this year, the Tertiary Education Commission received only 5% of their budget allocation. Only 5% of their budget allocation. Nevertheless, we're discussing with them now what amendments we need to do to their legislation, what other systems we set up to prevent dominion from happening going into the future. That has gone very well. We have also met with the Students' Union of Frabe College, IPAM, and Neltimagai University. We plan to meet with the other union executives in due course, Jala, Unimac, and others. It was very exciting for us to hear these young men and women report to us what really happens and how much angry they are that in fact people are engaging in practices while some of them are genuinely going through the academic rigor to gain knowledge. We've done that as well. Yesterday, the reason Honorable Lamin and I were not here in the morning, it is because we had already scheduled a meeting with all the conference of chancellors and vice chancellors of universities. It was very difficult that time to cancel that meeting to come to Parliament, but I did call Honorable Speaker to indicate. We met with them yesterday. They are as angry as the public is over fake certificates, and we had good dialogue. They are in fact coming up with their own policy paper to submit to the committee as to how we fix this problem. They were very candid because we also reported to them accusations we heard about the complicity of faculty, in fact, and secretariats in issuing attestations that may be false. In the afternoon, we met with the Union of Academic Staff Associations of almost all of the universities. They came from Bo, Kenema, McKinney. They converged, and we met with them in the afternoon as well. Very candid discussions. They've also given us their own written inputs about the causes and ways in which we fix it. We fix the system. I wanted to report to you that we're moving. The next steps, hopefully later, maybe next week or the week after, we'll have a meeting in McKinney
where we're inviting the students' unions from the universities in the provinces to converge, but also the private universities. And on the 14th of December, we'll have a general...
respect on the point of order.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Speaker, I don't think my brother, the honorable member, is following due procedure. And, you know, all of these things is same. I don't think they are relevant at this stage. As a matter of fact, this parliament has formed a committee and has charged that committee with the responsibility of doing the necessary investigation. All we expect in this house is the report
yes,
of what they've done.
If I may, if you may yield,
is the report.
If you may yield for a minute,
please. Is the report of what we've done so far. When the report is before this house, then we will all have the audacity to debate.
Yes.
But for now, all what is said, I don't think should be before this house at this stage. Where should be before this house at this stage?
It's not my duty to bring us up to speed.
Exactly. And I'm not presenting it. I'm not presenting it, and there's a deliberate reason why. There's a deliberate reason why I did this.
I have two issues. And I listened carefully when they referred to members of parliament. I don't think we have files there. I don't think members of parliament have files. Because if we had files, then there will be the need for every member of parliament to bring his relevant documents or qualification to inform the file. In as much as we haven't got file here, that presupposes the fact that none of us here declared our qualification on the case. No, we were not required to. We were not required to. So asking members of parliament to submit their documents, I think it's superfluous. The superfluous of what the committee is required to do.
We take note, Honorable Speaker. I believe it is well within a committee's responsibility to choose at any time to provide an update. We are not presenting a formal report yet. Hold fire, you'll get our report in January. My point is the following. People had assumed that nothing would happen. We've heard the comments, both internally but also outside, that nothing would happen. In fact, a number of the groups we met said it openly. The students said, it's 1 year since Dominion. We just thought that nobody cared anymore. So I felt we had a responsibility, Honorable Speaker, to update this House that yes, working with you and the clerk, we have a secretariat established. We are continuing our work and hopefully we'll have a report ready for you in January. But the point is, the main point here is we're doing the work you asked us to do and we're continuing and hopefully, inshallah, we'll be able to give you proposals how we fix the system going forward. Thank you very much. Thank you. Provided also that we get funding because now we want to go out to the provinces to meet other stakeholders. Indeed, it's a good career. Thank you, Honorable Amir.
Time is not in our favor. Something will go in the elections. You need one. You go for the
Honorable Speaker, members of Parliament, I'm here to read out a report of November 23rd attack on the Chamber of Parliament. This report is submitted by the Office of the Clerk of Parliament and it is for the attention of Mr. Speaker. 1. Introduction. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I hereby report on the 23rd November instant that there was an attack on the Chamber of Parliament by some members of Parliament and strangers in the Speaker's gallery. As a result of this attack, the sittings of the 23rd November was disrupted, persons injured, and properties destroyed. 2. Perpetrators. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, from eyewitnesses, coupled with official parliamentary footages captured by our CCTV cameras, cameramen, and ICT department, the following persons are considered perpetrators of the November 23rd attack on the Chamber of Parliament. A. Honorable Aaron Aruna Koroba, Constituency 048. B. Honorable Lahai Mara, Constituency 042. C. Honorable Abdul Karim Kamara, Constituency 059. And D. The driver of Honorable Kelly of Lungi. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, invitations have already been issued for the said perpetrators to be interviewed by the police. The Inspector General of Police has requested you, sir, through my office, to release the above listed MPs for investigation. With me here is a letter from the Criminal Investigations Department addressed to the following MPs: Honorable Abdul Karim Kamara, Honorable Aaron Aruna Koroma, Honorable Lahai Mara, and Honorable Hassan Sisi. The letter will be tendered for your consideration. Meanwhile, the Criminal Investigation Department has visited Parliament and compiled inventory of properties destroyed during the 23rd November attack. 3 properties destroyed. The administration of Parliament has done a careful assessment of properties destroyed during the November 23rd attack and the costs attached thereto. A. 2 giant flower vases at 17,500 each, total 35,000 leons, new leons. B. 10 MP seats at 4,000 leons each, total 40,000 new leons. C. 2 upper gallery seats at 3,000 leons, total 6,000 leons. D. 3 MP stables at 6,000 leons each, total 18,000 leons. E. 1 upper gallery glass door at 10,000 leons, total 10,000 leons. F. The Android computer and microphone system in the middle of the chamber used by ministers, total 50,000 leons. G. 5 Android computers with microphones at 35,000 leons each, total 175,000 leons. H. 8 Android computers defective, repair cost 2,000 leons each, total 16,000 leons. I. Local area network cable connection and microphone series connections, also defective, repair cost 30,000 leons. Total cost of destruction and damage 380,000 new leons. 4. Affront on parliamentary authority. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, an attack on the maize is an affront on Parliament and the Speakership. This will not be further dilated upon. It is left to your legislative competence, sir, as Speaker of this House and the third highest authority of state, to address the subject of contempt and affront to the dignity of Parliament. 5. Issue for your consideration. The Right Honourable Speaker, sir, I wish to submit for your utmost consideration the following issues. A. The 3 members of Parliament and 1 stranger who led an attack on the Chamber of Parliament, subsequently causing injury to others and destructions to public property. B. The malicious damage to parliamentary property by the said MPs to the tune of 380,000 new leos. And C. An affront on the mace, the utmost authority of Parliament. 6. Conclusion. The Right Honourable Speaker, sir, what happened in this chamber on November 23rd is an outcome of impunity. On the 25th April 2018, there was an attack on Parliament and its properties. Again on April 19th, 2021, a similar attack on Parliament, this time at the Freetown International Conference Centre, was carefully designed and systematically executed on Parliament by a group of MPs. Honourable Speaker, sir, the trend vegetating in the 5th Parliament is unprecedented. The 1st to 4th Parliaments did not use their muscles in this chamber. They rather used their intellectual abilities to articulate their issues. This Parliament must learn from its predecessors. Never again shall we use our fists to make our positions known. I thank you, faithfully submitted by the Clerk of Parliament, for your consideration.
I thank the Clerk of Parliament.
Mr. Speaker, in line with what we have heard so far from the office of the clerk, I still insist that you invoke 43.3. I so move.
I will ask the Deputy Speaker to kindly hold that motion in abeyance. I have received the report from the clerk. I will take my time to study the report and react to this report. And as I did this morning, at the next adjourned date, be it tomorrow or next week, this House will receive my reaction and my decision accordingly. With that, I want to thank the clerk and the Honourable House for your kind attention. We stand adjourned to tomorrow. No, I beg your pardon. To Monday. Well, let me give the floor to the leader of government business. I'm sure he has the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I stand for SO51.
Yeah.
So that the House can have a sitting on Monday to study.
Thank you. Any second?
I so second.
All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. With that, the House stands adjourned to Monday. What date is Monday? Is somebody please tell me? Monday, the 28th of November, 10 a.m. prompt. What is that?
Tablet.